Have you heard people say opposites attract? I'm sure you have, because it's true. However, many people have taken this saying literally and have created meaning around it that it was never meant to have. Welcome to Conversations from the Heart. I'm Waleuska Lazo, your gratitude coach, and today in this video, I will explain why you must be cautious about the initial attractor factor. I hope you enjoyed the video. When choosing a partner, it is important for you to understand that the very things that attract you to your partner at the start of the relationship can also be the things that can cause its demise. Okay? The very thing that you love so much because was different becomes difficult because it's different. And this is why I am advocating that the popular saying opposites attract should be expanded to say opposites attract and later repel. Try to think of past relationships and list all the qualities that you were drawn to, and then look at the reasons why it either ended or things that were a source of conflict between you, and see if there's a connection between them. I bet you're gonna find many. We are typically attracted to things that are different, and unfortunately we confuse that in our minds as a sign of compatibility and love, when in fact they are lost in excitement. Okay, we become excited, we are static, and we choose to either move in together or get married. Now, don't get me wrong, those attractors are great and necessary, but are far from being indicators of long-term compatibility and success. Studies have shown that couples who base their decision to go into a committed relationship based solely on those opposite attractions have more conflicting relationships in shorter time span together than couples who choose someone whose values and personality are more aligned with theirs. The things that attract us at the start of the relationship are the ones that eventually also upset us. And I'm not sure that there is a complete way out of this, but becoming aware of it is useful so that when time comes, you are conscious of the territory you may be experiencing. As an example, if what attracts you to your partner is that they are extremely focused on their career and financial success, later in that relationship, you may grow dissatisfied for that very same thing, because the time that they dedicate to their work will take away from the time that you can have together. And this was certainly the case for me. The very thing that attracted me most about my ex-husband was also the main thing that led us to falling apart. He was a workaholic and I grew lonely in that relationship. Another example, at one point, I dated a guy, and what attracted me most to him was his chill personality. I mean, this guy took the world in stride. Nothing seems to faze him. And he lived, in the moment. And his number one goal was a stress-free life. And that was very different than my ex-husband. And I like the fact that for him, his number one was enjoy life first and work second. Well, within 2 years, I grew disenchanted with him. And the very thing that had attracted me to him was our main source of discord, because he had no ambition in accomplishing anything in life or becoming financially stable. And his chill personality that I once loved, I got to see for what it actually was. He was lazy and he relied on me to be the breadwinner. Well, guess where that went? Nowhere. Another example to drive the point home is that my ex-husband, one of the things that attracted him to me was that I was different than the girls he dated. He loved that I was Spanish and passionate. years later, this very thing was a point of contention between us because culturally, my ways were not his ways. For the most part, Spanish people are passionate and overly friendly. We scream, we yell, we fight, we speak with our hands and love wholeheartedly. We are a symphony of outburst emotions, qualities that later were not so attractive to my ex-husband, who was an introvert and less social and quiet in mannerism. So be mindful of the things that attract you. As it happened to a friend of mine, if you're dating someone who has children from a previous relationship and you admire what a great parent they are and how committed they are to their children, that very quality can later be the one that you resent because you will never come first in that relationship. And all these things that I have mentioned are not good or bad. My goal is simply to bring light into a dynamic often faced by couples. So when you are evaluating your decision, ask yourself, is this thing that I love most about them also a thing that I can later accept and learn to understand? Can you love the fact that your partner is a great parent and committed to their children, but can you also live with the fact that you'll never come first in the relationship, right? Can you love the fact that your partner works hard and is ambitious and also live with the fact that the majority of their time will be dedicated to their career more than you? Can you admire the live for today mentality and also live with the don't worry about tomorrow personality? So with the qualities that you admire most about your partner, my advice is that you project them into the future, 3, 5, 10 years down the road. So don't just look at the initial factor, but also look at how can this have another edge and affect you, right? While there are no guarantees that choosing someone who is more aligned with your personality, your background, and your values will last, more often than not, similarities are likely to lead to more fulfilling and happier relationships. So my advice is that you come into the relationship eyes wide open. There is nothing wrong with having opposite attract, but also have other things to balance your decision. Have things that attract you because they're different, but have a higher percentage of things that are similar. If you are finding yourself in a situation like the one described here, and you are resenting the very things that you first were attractive to your partner, don't despair. It may be a bit more difficult, but it doesn't mean that your relationship has to be doomed. The best thing you can do is communicate your feelings. Don't assume that your partner knows the impact they're having on you. Honesty and courage to have those uncomfortable conversations can go a long way and can bring you even closer together, and things can be done to mediate the situation. But when you let it fester, when you don't communicate, it builds resentment, and over time, it chips away the love and the connection. Last but not least, if you are finding yourself resentful of the very thing you once loved, have compassion. Have compassion on your partner and on yourself because you chose them for that very reason. So rather than complaining and expressing dissatisfaction with your partner, consider both sides of the coin and consider that on one side of the sword, those things may still be things to be grateful for. So acknowledge the implications that these attractors can eventually have and have a little compassion. Okay, with a little understanding and acceptance, you can still have a successful and lasting love. I hope this message has touched you and that you found it of value. Be mindful that everything in life has duality. And with that, try to embrace the things that bring you together and embrace the things that set you apart. With much gratitude, Waleuska. See you on the next episode.